Cleveland didn't just lose a football game, Cleveland just drew a battle line in the locker room, and Miles Garrett is the one who grabbed the marker. The quiet face of the Browns' defense, the guy who normally lets his play do all the talking, finally broke his silence. And when he didn't just defend his rookie quarterback, Sheduer Sanders. He basically told Jerry Jeudy, in front of the entire football world, "You're the problem, not him." That's not a casual comment. That's a seismic shift inside a franchise that's already hanging on by a thread. For a guy like Miles Garrett to step into offensive drama at all is wild. This is a former Defensive Player of the Year, the soul of that locker room, someone who usually stays out of messy storylines and handles everything behind closed doors. So when a reporter asked him about the situation between Jerry Jeudy and Sheduer Sanders, nobody expected fireworks. Instead, he dropped a sentence that told you everything you needed to know. He said, "If you have nothing good to say, don't say something to somebody," and then talked about how certain comments were demeaning and disrespectful toward his teammates. He didn't say Judy's name, but he didn't have to. Everyone in that building knows exactly who he meant. Then came the line that really shook things up. Miles said the team is behind Sheduer Sanders 100%. No hesitation, no caveat, no "we support everybody." He chose a side right there on the microphone. And if you think that doesn't matter, you don't understand how NFL locker rooms work. When the alpha in your building plants his flag next to the rookie quarterback and not the high-priced veteran receiver, that sends a message from the top row of the stadium to the last guy on the practice squad. This isn't just a disagreement anymore. This is a culture decision. What makes it even more serious is who Garrett is and what he usually does. He's not a hot take guy. He doesn't chase attention. He doesn't stir drama. If anything, he avoids it. His job is to wreck quarterbacks, not press conferences. So when he steps in and basically says, "We're done with the disrespect and we're riding with our rookie," that tells you this situation has gone way past normal tension. That's not boys being boys. That's a 5-alarm fire in the locker room. And the spark was lit in one ugly, frustrating night that exposed everything wrong with this Browns offense. Because this all really blew up in a game that was supposed to be a test, but turned into a complete embarrassment. Final score, 26-8. It wasn't just a loss. It was one of those games where the stadium gets quiet and you can almost feel the fan base emotionally checking out. And the crazy part? For once, the rookie quarterback wasn't the reason it fell apart. Sheduer Sanders, in the middle of all the chaos, was out there doing everything you ask from a young QB. He was facing a defensive front that was hunting him from the first snap. Pressure off the edge, collapsing pockets, bodies flying at his knees and shoulders on almost every dropback. Most rookies in that situation turtle. They start rushing their reads, bailing out of clean pockets, forcing throws they shouldn't even consider. Sheduer did the opposite. He stood in the fire. He read coverages. He delivered strikes into tight windows knowing he was about to get crushed. That's not normal rookie behavior. That's the kind of stuff that makes veterans look at you differently on Monday morning. And yet for all of that, the offense looked completely broken. Drives stalled. Momentum died. Big plays slipped away. And when you go back and look at why, you end up circling the same name over and over again. Jerry Jeudy, the guy who should be helping his young quarterback survive these games, is the one dragging him down. And if you think that sounds harsh, just look at the tape. Start with the very first offensive snap. No excuses, no "we were still getting warmed up," none of that. The Browns come out with a simple concept. Sheduer sees the coverage shell, processes it, and knows there's space opening in front of Jeudy. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. Hits the top of his drop and throws to a spot, trusting his receiver to be there. That's how timing routes work in the NFL. The ball arrives exactly where Jerry should be, exactly when he should be there. Except he isn't. Because instead of accelerating through his route into the open grass, Jeudy eases up. He literally slows down. The ball hits the turf, and on the stat sheet it looks like an incompletion for the quarterback. But that's not on Sheduer. That's purely on the receiver not finishing his route. That one play tells you a lot. That's not a complicated scheme. That's not some misunderstood option route. That's basic wide receiver 101. Run your route full speed to the correct depth and meet the ball. When you cruise through a rep like that, you're telling everybody something about your focus and effort. And unfortunately, that wasn't some one-off mental lapse. This has become a pattern. Because rewind to the week before, the Browns dial up a shot play, something every quarterback lives for. Sheduer rolls to his right, feeling the edge rusher bearing down. As he moves, he drags the secondary with him and opens up the deep part of the field. He sees Jeudy streaking open downfield and lets it rip. The ball is gorgeous. Perfect trajectory, perfect placement. That's a clip it for the draft profile throw. It hits Jeudy in stride in a position where most NFL receivers are already planning their celebration. That should be a touchdown. Instead, the ball ends up on the ground. Jeudy loses it, coughs it up, and a potential game-changing highlight evaporates into nothing. Think about what that does to a rookie quarterback. You do everything right. You make the big-time throw under pressure. You create the explosive play your offense desperately needs. And the guy on the other end of it just doesn't finish. That's a stat you don't get. That's confidence you don't build. That's trust that gets chipped away. How many times can you watch that happen before you start wondering if your receivers are going to be where they're supposed to be or hold on to the ball when they get it? That's the position Sheduer is in, and everyone in that building knows it. So you've got routes not finished, plays left on the field, a fumble on a money throw, and then come the cameras catching Jerry Jeudy barking at Sheduer on the sideline. That's the part that really blew this thing open. Because it's one thing to be frustrated. It's another to be the guy messing up and then try to throw your quarterback under the bus in front of the whole world. That's not just bad optics, that's poison inside a locker room. The clip spread almost instantly. Jeudy, animated, in Sheduer's face. The body language screamed blame. It didn't look like a constructive conversation. It looked like someone trying to save face in front of his teammates by shifting responsibility onto the rookie. And the crazy part? Sheduer didn't fire back. He didn't get in Jeudy's face. He didn't create an even bigger spectacle. He walked away, went back to the bench, and focused on the next drive. That's not softness. That's control. That's choosing the long game over the quick reaction that would have made everything explode even more. Then you hear him after the game, and it makes Miles Garrett's comments hit even harder. Because if anyone had the right to go off on Jeudy, it was Sheduer. He could have gone up there and said, "Look, you saw the drops, you saw the routes, you saw the fumble, I'm doing my job." Instead, he leaned into unity. He talked about how the offense needs time to gel, how they have to get comfortable with each other in every situation, how this team isn't some microwave that you just plug in and instantly get a finished product. He admitted they aren't where they need to be, but he framed it as growth. He took the heat with lines about rallying the guys better, creating more confidence, being the one to bring everyone together when things get slow. That's not just mature, that's politically smart. He protected the locker room, protected his receiver, and absorbed blame that he easily could have redirected. For a rookie, that's big-time leadership. And that's exactly why you're seeing veterans like Miles Garrett go out of their way to show the world they're with him. But there's another piece to all of this, and it's not just about players. It's about the men wearing headsets. Because while all of this drama is swirling, Kevin Stefanski's decisions are quietly making everything even harder for his young quarterback. And at a certain point, you can't ignore it. Look at that critical red zone series. The Browns finally start moving the ball. Sheduer is locked in, using his legs when he has to, picking apart small windows, doing the stuff you dream about when you draft a quarterback. You can feel the momentum starting to flip just a little. And right as the offense is knocking on the door, Stefanski decides now is the time to get conservative. He takes the ball out of Sheduer's hands and turns to a run call, slamming Jerome Ford into a defensive front that has been swallowing the run all night. Everyone watching could see it wasn't working. Ford was getting stonewalled at the line. There was no push, no crease, nothing. The defense knew it was coming. The fans knew it was coming. And pretty sure the hot dog guy in the upper deck knew it was coming. Predictably, the play gets blown up. The drive stalls. The Browns walk away with less than they should have. And once again, instead of leaning into the one guy actually making plays, the coaching staff shrinks away from him at the biggest moment. That's the pattern that frustrates people inside and outside the building. How do you evaluate a rookie when you won't let him run the show in the moments that matter most? You can't talk about trusting a quarterback and then yank the ball away from him every time you get close to the end zone. You can't preach confidence and then respond to one mistake by slamming on the brakes. At some point, your play calling betrays what you really believe. And right now, it sure looks like the coaching staff believes more in playing it safe than in letting Sheduer grow into the star his teammates think he can be. That's why the contrast between Miles Garrett and Kevin Stefanski has become such a big talking point. Garrett walked up to the mic and made everything crystal clear. He backed his quarterback. He criticized the behavior that was hurting the team, even if he didn't drop a name. He sent a direct message. We are riding with Sheduer, and we're done pretending this is about anything else. That's strong leadership. That's what star players are supposed to do when they see something threatening the locker room. Stefanski, on the other hand, gave you the classic "we have to look at the tape" routine. When asked if Sheduer would start next week, he danced around it at first. Talked about battles, talked about plays everyone would want back, said all the things coaches say when they don't want to fully commit. Only when pressed did he finally say, yes, Sheduer would be the starter. One word, forced out of him. And even that felt less like conviction and more like something he had to say to avoid a bigger controversy. Imagine being a young quarterback hearing that. Your teammates, the guys taking hits and throwing blocks with you, are saying, "We've got your back. Your best defensive player is going to bat for you publicly." Meanwhile, the man designing the offense is acting like you still have to pass some invisible test just to keep your job for another week. That disconnect is huge, and the locker room feels it. So now we're staring at a much bigger question than just who messed up a route or who fumbled a deep ball. The real question is, who are the Cleveland Browns actually building around? Because you don't get infinite chances at finding a real franchise quarterback. That window is small. Most teams spend decades searching. And right now, for all the chaos and the losing and the noise, you've got a rookie in Sheduer Sanders showing all the traits you beg for in that position. He's taking hits and getting back up. He's making high-level throws under pressure. He's standing in front of cameras after brutal losses and taking responsibility instead of pointing fingers. That's talent plus toughness plus leadership. You don't just stumble onto that every year. And when you do, you usually don't surround it with receivers who can't be trusted and coaches who are scared to fully hand him the keys. Now compare that to what you're getting from Jerry Jeudy. The physical talent has never been the question, but talent is only part of the equation in the NFL. The rest is accountability, detail, and the willingness to look in the mirror when things go wrong. What we're seeing from Jeudy this season is the opposite. Routes not finished, plays not completed, a highlight reel throw turned into a turnover. And instead of owning it, he's barking at the rookie in full view of the cameras. That's not just a bad look, that's a liability. And that's why Miles Garrett had to step in. That's why he couldn't stay quiet anymore.